Hey everyone, and welcome back to Figure Barn. Now today we've got the ultimate dino-packed adventure as we're unearthing the prehistoric charms and Jurassic Park Funko Hatchlings and a bunch of Jurassic World Dinosaur Fossils. From adorable baby dinos to fossilized bones, these figures are pretty cool additions to all the Funkos from this epic franchise. But that's not all. We'll take a quick stroll down memory lane to explore the history of the franchise and discover some more about these iconic films that brought dinosaurs roaring back to life. Plus, we'll even try and throw in some jaw-dropping random dinosaur facts. You never know what you're going to learn. So smash that like button, subscribe, and let's dig in. So, the Jurassic Park saga roars to life with Steven Spielberg's classic 1993 film, where eccentric billionaire John Hammond invites scientists to his cutting-edge island theme park. Complete with living dinosaurs cloned from prehistoric DNA, the thrill quickly turns into terror when the dinos escape their enclosures thanks to a greedy saboteur. Cue chaos, iconic quotes, and the unforgettable T-Rex roaring over the wreckage. Welcome to Isla Nublar. Now in 1997's The Lost World, it brings a darker sequel, where a second dino-laden island is discovered. Hammond's nephew wants to exploit it for profit, unleashing a rampaging T-Rex in San Diego. The dinos take on city sightseeing. And by 2001, Jurassic Park 3 delivered thrills with a rescue mission gone awry on Isla Sorna, which is the second island. Enter the Spinosaurus, proving that even a T-Rex isn't the top predator anymore. The instalment makes us wonder, why would anyone want to visit Dino Islands at all? Right, so now we've set the stage a bit. Let's have a look at a few pops, starting with the Dino Hatchlings. Now this is a set of 4 that were released late last year, but actually there was also one of a raptor that came out earlier as part of the 2023 convention. That's this one here. It completely passed me by at the time, so we've had to scoot onto eBay and pick this one up. So there's the raptor there. He's got a sort of orangey pinky look to him. So we've got the 2023 Summer Convention, and this was part of the Jurassic Park 30th anniversary set. There was 2 or 3 pops that came out, including the Amber T-Rex. And there we go, little raptor just hatching out of his egg there. But the first one that we have from this newest set that came out, as I say, at the end of last year, is a T-Rex hatchling. Now, the full-grown T-Rex makes her unforgettable debut as the star attraction of John Hammond's ill-fated Jurassic Park. A moment of glory comes when she escapes her paddock during a power outage, giving us the heart-pounding scene where she stomps into frame, flipping a jeep and terrorising everyone in her path. With her earth-shaking roar and razor-sharp teeth, she's both a nightmare and an icon. But here's the twist, the T-Rex isn't just the villain, she also plays the unexpected hero. In the film's climax, she takes down the velociraptors hunting the human survivors, proving she's both the apex predator in more ways than one. So, being hatchlings, these are all sort of escaping from their eggs in various ways, and the little T-Rex here is wearing part of the egg on her head as a little hat, while giving us a big toothy grin. Now the pose on the box itself tries to make out that it's a bit more scary than it actually is. Looking a bit more like a roar, but at this size, to be honest, it looks more like a cheeky little smile to me. Probably still take your hand off if you try to pet it though. Now, as well as a nasty bite, some experts think that shards of rotten and bacteria-infested meat constantly lodged in the back of their closely packed teeth gave the T-Rex a bit of a septic bite, which would infect and eventually kill its wounded prey if the bite didn't get there itself. And the next one we have is one of the T-Rex's foes, a Velociraptor hatchling. Now the Velociraptors are generally the smartest dinosaurs on Isla Nublar, with their intelligence, hunting strategies and the ability to even open doors, making them a constant threat. Now the alpha female leads the pack with precision, relentlessly hunting the human survivors. The climatic kitchen scene with the kids, Lex and Tim, showcases their terrifying coordination, while the T-Rex ultimately takes them down in the epic finale. Lesson learned, never underestimate a raptor. Now this little guy is once again making their way out of the egg, with a mouthful of shell there and one leg sort of out and the other remaining still stuck within. Now looking at the box, these figures are using the green and red pattern design with the original Jurassic Park logo here, which has been used before for a few which were released as part of the 30th anniversary in 2023. They also marked the 30th anniversary on the actual logo, whereas these just use the same sort of colouring basically. Now in real life the velociraptors weren't anywhere near as big as they were shown in Jurassic Park. They were only about 2 metres including the tail and stood around half a metre tall at the hip, which actually isn't really much bigger than the size of a modern day turkey. So moving on, our third little hatchling is the Dilophosaurus, which in Greek means double-crested lizard, a name that refers to its headgear there and the two thin bony crests running from its snout down to its eye socket. Now its defining moment comes when it encounters Dennis Nedry, the park's bumbling programmer turned saboteur. Now lost in the rain, Dennis underestimates the seemingly innocent creature until its frill suddenly snaps open like a terrifying flower, and the Dilophosaurus spits venom into his face, blinding him before finishing off the job off camera. Now this is very much the most colourful of the four, with its turquoise colouring and the red in the middle of the frills, surrounded by the yellow there in its head crests. Now the frill is obviously fairly vivid, comes out quite well on the background of the rest of the dino. Now naturally it's a very iconic scene depicted in the original Jurassic Park movie, although actually there's no direct fossil evidence that the frill or the venom spitting ability is actually real. I'm willing to ignore that just for the sake of the movie, I think, if you are. And the final one in our hatchling quartet is the Stygimoloch. Now unlike the previous three, Stygimoloch wasn't really in the original Jurassic Park trilogy, making its mark much later in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. After being captured along with the other dinosaurs, Stiggy finds himself locked up, but this dino's thick, dome-shaped skull wasn't made for sitting around, it was made for headbutting. When Owen Grady and Claire Deering are looking for a distraction to escape, Stiggy smashes through the barriers like a prehistoric wrecking ball, sending guards flying in a fairly chaotic fashion. And here they are, with the most striking feature being that extremely thick skull roof, which is sort of quite domed and covered in bony spikes and knobs there. Now with it sitting in the remains of its egg, it almost looks like it's sort of head-butted its way out. Also quite prominent there is the beak, which they had, as well as the teeth, which allows them to effectively nip bite-sized parts of the plants that they would eat. Now we'll just have a quick look at the back of the boxes here, showing all four of the ones that we've just seen. As I say, there was also that raptor that we looked at first and foremost, but I suppose there is scope for a few more of the iconic dinos in this form as well, maybe the Atrociraptor or the Gigantosaurus. You never know what they're going to bring out in the future. Now the franchise took a bit of a hiatus before 2015's Jurassic World revived Dino Fever, showcasing a fully operational park. And what better way to attract the attention than creating a genetically modified dinosaur? Spoiler, it doesn't end well. The mighty Indominus Rex turns the park into mayhem, while Chris Pratt's Raptor Squad tries to rein her in. In Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom in 2018, Dino Rescue becomes Dino Extinction as a volcanic eruption threatens Isla Nublar. The survivors are sold into black market auctions, unleashing chaos in stately mansions, because dinos in luxury homes were obviously the next logical step. And finally, in Jurassic World Dominion in 2022, that brought the franchise full circle, blending legacy characters with a few newer faces. Dinosaurs roam freely among humans in a precarious coexistence. Science, ethics, and epic nostalgia collide as the saga ends with a roar and probably some crushed jeeps. From groundbreaking sort of CGI to tense dino showdowns, the Jurassic Park films have delivered adventure and chaos that always leave us asking, can life really find a way? And now, from the cute and cuddly beginnings of life with the dinosaur hatchlings, we're digging a bit deeper, literally, into the prehistoric past with the Funko Dinosaur Fossils. Now again, we've got 4 of these to show, with the first 3 being released around August-September time last year, with the 4th coming as part of Target Con in the US at the end of February this year. And the first one of the fossils that we have is back to the Dilophosaurus. Now I love the sculpts on these ones with each of the bones shown in a darker colour, and it's almost like they've been freshly dug out of the ground with a lighter sand colour, bits holding the shape together as if the soil hasn't really been cleared off the skeletal remains. Now, not being a paleontologist, I don't know how accurate the bones and the fossils actually are with these, but it's clear there's been a fair bit of effort put in with the designers to try and replicate them to a certain degree. It's detailed enough to instantly know what kind of dino they're trying to depict, and as you can see, the bases are also sculpted to look like they're on a stone slab which has just come out of the ground there. Now, the second one that we have, and also one that we didn't see as a hatchling, is the Triceratops here. So the Triceratop, meaning three-horn face, is a well-known dinosaur known for its large bony skull, its three prominent horns, two above the eyes and one above the nose, and the bony frill on the back of its head, all likely used for both defence and display. Now, in the original movie, Dr. Ellie Sattler and the group encounter a sick Triceratops lying in a field. Now, this gentle giant, despite its size and power, is pretty vulnerable and in need of help, which leads to an impromptu veterinary investigation and, yes, some hand sifting through dino dung. In Jurassic World, the Triceratops can be found in a slightly gentler setting, giving rides to children in the park's Gentle Giants petting zoo, giving the view of how the humans have tamed and commercialised these prehistoric creatures. Now, this is a really heavy pop, basically, absolutely filling the box here, put sideways for a better look. Does actually work in this case. Now, as mentioned, you can clearly see the horns around its head and the frill around its neck, just overlapping the rib cage and down to the tail. Now, the Triceratops was one of the last non-flying dinosaurs to actually evolve, being part of the late Cretaceous period, which was still 145 to 65 million years ago. It's believed they were still walking the earth when the last of the dinosaurs were actually wiped out, so one of the latest ones to survive. And next we are back with Tyrannosaurus, which was actually the main predator of the Triceratops. Now, that would have been a crazy battle to see. I wouldn't want to get too close to it when it was going on though. Again, this one's in the box lengthways and probably smaller than I would have expected. Nowhere near fitting as much of the box as the Triceratops that we've just seen. Still, it's another impressive sculpt of a dino in a fossil form, with all the bones picked out and the voids filled with that sort of sandy stone background colour. Obviously, it's got its larger head and its big rows of teeth and its tiny little arms down there that the T-Rex is synonymous with. And again, it's mounted on what looks like a stone base, although to me this one looks a bit more like a chocolate chip cookie than a slab of granite. But that's the way it is. And the final one that we have today on our dino show is the supersized Velociraptor here. So this was released in February as part of the Target Con in the US, but we don't have Target stores here in the UK. So this one came direct from Funko Europe, as you can see there. It means that we get the standard Funko Special Edition sticker rather than the Target Con sticker, which is a bit of a shame, but Funko are doing away with the stickers anyway, so it is what it is. Now, it's a little bit of a surprise to have the Velociraptor here as the supersized pop, especially as we learned earlier that they're not actually any bigger than a standard turkey. To me, it would have been fairly obvious to make the previous T-Rex as a supersized pop rather than this one, and make this one as the standard, or even better, maybe an Indominus Rex, but hey, I don't work for Funko. But saying that, I do probably prefer the fossil pops being in this supersize. It just seems to make more sense to me with the fact that most dinosaurs were pretty imposing figures. And now I remember one of my first encounters with this sheer scale of dinosaurs, and a lot of kids in the UK probably, was Dippy the Diplodocus, who took centre stage in the main hall of the Natural History Museum in London. He was 26 metres long and would have weighed as much as 15 tonnes. Now, he lost his place in the entranceway in 2017 and was replaced by a blue whale, but anyway, that's going off on a bit of a tangent. But that's pretty much the end of our Jurassic-sized adventure. From the iconic thrills of Jurassic Park movies to the Funko Pop dinosaur hatchlings and the timeless dinosaur fossils, we've roamed through millions of years of dinosaur history and Funko Pops. And here's a final fun fact to leave you with. Did you know that the T-Rex could crush bones with a bite force of over 12,000 pounds? That's like having a truck dropped on you, prehistoric style. And speaking of dinos, the Triceratops' frill wasn't just for show. It may well have been used for communication and defence as well. How cool is that? So whether you're a fan of dinosaur chaos, cute hatchlings or relics of the past, the Jurassic World has something for everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a showcase. Why not drop a comment below and let us know any other Jurassic World movie pops you'd like to see, or even your favourite from today's collection. So don't forget, stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, there's always another story to tell. We'll catch you in the next one.